Yes, yes, it's me after all these years, the gangster queen of constitutional law. What we're going to do today, we're just going to give you half an hour today because you got to get acclimated with me. I've done so many things. There is no way anybody's going to believe it without proof. Because you know they think we're the worst people in the world. But we finna prove on this show that we stand shoulder to shoulder with everybody as a people and as citizens of the United States of America. Now, we're going to start with my educational background because you don't really know me. Well, a lot of people do, especially in Congress. I told y'all I was going to get you. So we're going to start with my educational background, which I acquired right in Detroit, Michigan, starting at Scripps Elementary School. They taught us every word of the U.S. Constitution that's pertinent to immigration, defense of our nation, immigration, defense of our nation. They really go both together. And you just wait till you find out. But you can't do it today. You got to tune in November on my next show. Now, I have here my educational background. I went to, after I had this stint in elementary school, I went to Ross. See here? Ross. And that's where I got all A's, nothing under 90s in medical training. And this is from Ross. This is the Radiation Oncology Center at Harper Hospital, where I met Dr. Colin G. Orton, and he gave me all kinds of A's and all kinds of awards to do with things, you know, like the cancer treatment, and how I stand there watching him do the actual machines and how you put it together. And then he was impressed when I gave my dissertation. My dissertation was in shorthand that I had to make up. Nobody else even turned in one. So we've been out there with the biggest and the best. And here, this is where I went to Everest with some law studies. Then I went to Thomas M. Cooley Law School for 9 years for immigration studies and defense of the nation studies. You're going to find out how they all go together. And this is, I'm writing a book on medicine and the doctors and the clinics and the pharmaceutical houses, what they're doing to rip us off. And they are going to be stopped as well. Mr. Trump was talking about draining the swamp. I'm gonna throw the swamp out. You have no idea what they're doing to people, and they fooling everybody on Obamacare. You just wait, you find out what they getting out of you, what they supposed to be giving you free. And this is my memoirs from way back in the 90s. See, in the 90s, we had the drug lords taking over America, and I found out they were doing it through the children on welfare. Oh, they just run somebody up in the house and they sell drugs over the children. Well, I got tired of it, and when the Republicans got in there, because Democrats never listened to me, when the Republicans got in there, they listened. And I say we got to find a way to get these people out. So Engler, everybody had to listen to me in order to fix it. And that's me and Engler there. And this is Betsy DeVos, the education director. I got to get with her and make her put that doggone Constitution back in the school for the kids so they won't be getting ripped off like they are now. And this is the book that I wrote. It's called The Trouble with Politics. And it was me and Dick Chrysler. And this is my capital card. This is what I always took to the state capitol. And this is more talk about the book. This is, I'll read this one to you because people never gonna believe it. It's from Congress. It says, P.S. I got the Christine Timmon law passed. It was called Two Strikes and You're Out. It is included in the Manager's Amendment of the United States Housing Act, and it will throw drug deals out of government housing. See, we just had just a little bit too much of it in the day, people. It was way too much. Soon as this happened, I saw the golden community. I don't use the word black. I saw the golden community actually blossom into a new beginning. And the little children, I am just so happy for them. You know, I had to sacrifice because you know they was going to beat me up. I ain't paying no attention. And this is from today. I went to Congress a couple of years ago, same mess, immigration and defense of the nation, because everybody gets beat up down south. Florida, California, Texas. If you're American, you're going to get beat up and you're not going to get a job. And believe it or not, people, they got some system where they make Americans homeless by default. You know, I'm a little warm here. Let me take off my shawl here. They make Americans homeless by default. You guys better listen. And this was my car. Wasn't this cute? I had a police escort in front of Congress all day. that was cute. And this is from our state, Dave Trott. I interviewed him and quite a few others. Oh, this is the inside of the limo. And this is Mike Bishop. I was just interviewing everybody. And I told them, you people need to get busy. All this stuff going on all over the country, the Americans can't get nothing, and you giving all the money to the foreigners, which they are not allowed to do, which you will find out eventually. Now, this is my new stage now. I am the U.S. Queen of Constitutional Law, and I had several of the candidates for president to call me, and I just turned them all down because I didn't think that they were strong enough. You got to be real mean. See, when I went to D.C., I was mean. I told them, I'm tired of this mess. Y'all up here letting all these foreigners come over here beating up the women and children. And so I said, we need some changes. And I said to Mexicans, because they're not citizens. Yes, they're not. You're going to find out how they're stealing everything you got. So that's my first picture as the U.S. Queen of Constitutional Law. And this is my second picture as Queen of U.S. Constitutional Law. See, I told you today is going to be a day of learning. We're not going to get into it yet, but I want you to know, because that's going to sound stupid. I'm sitting up here saying I did all this stuff, and people say she's crazy, but I can prove what I do. Okay. Oh, and then, guess what? I can get sexy, too. I told you I got it going on. Then, what I got for you now, you're not going to believe. I was the one, I must have talked with Rolling Stone magazine for about 3 hours. And I told them, after I read everybody's platform, all the Republicans, and I think it was just 2 Democrats running. It was Bernie and Trump. And so I said, let's take all of these people seriously. And the reason for it is whoever wins, we got to put up with them, maybe 8 years. So the next thing I know, they put Trump on the front page. Now, I didn't know they was going to do that. I just said treat everybody with respect. Bernie Sanders, Hillary, even John McCain, who I can't stand. Just treat them all with respect. And they did. They started taking this election seriously, because this is the one that if we don't make it this time, we're done as a nation. And then this was when I got my little Trump picture took. They came by and they took my Trump picture. Ain't it darling? And this one is my daughter wanted me to have the recognition as the U.S. Queen of Constitutional Law, meant for everybody. I'm for everybody. because the Constitution, see, it only allows you to say citizen. So everybody can consider me as a gangster queen. And we're going to get together. When y'all get through learning what these people are doing, do you know how much money they owe you? About $10 trillion. I already won the case. I already won it. So let's put Mr. Trump over here. And he don't know no more than y'all do. He don't. He went to the same schools that you went to where they took out the Constitution on purpose. When we were in elementary school right in Detroit, Michigan, you had to know all 20-some of the congressional laws. You had to know the first 16 amendments and all of the articles that gave you your rights as people and the states their power. You had to know it or there would be blood. Believe me, and don't let them call your mom and them. Oh, no. And so these are a few other items I have. I don't think they're really necessarily important, but it's just the fact that all the years that I have been getting correspondence from the White House. Even, what's his name? GW. I don't know GW. All I can tell you is when he came into office, all the work that I did to get the drug dealers out of our neighborhood. I mean, you're going to have some, but these people was on the wild. It was the French Connection, Iran-Contra. Every time you look up, it's another one of them, bringing in some more stuff into America. And I just totally was fed up with it, and I insisted that there was no way for us to be living. So we don't live like that anymore, and I am really, really blessed that we don't live like that anymore, because you talk about some destruction, that's the end of the story there if we let that happen again. So what I'm going to be doing, I held something back. When I show up next time, I'm going to show you the awards that G.W. Bush gave me just for talking. When I speak, Congress better listen, because I'm going to teach you people how to throw them out of office. It's easy. That's why they took the Constitution out, so you would know these things. Every one of them can be took down. And I want the young people. I'm so sick of them old people in D.C. They have not written out one law for no American student like they're writing for all these foreigners, and then they steal your money to pay for it. I'm through reading now, so I can look right at the camera. They stole your money. And so what we did, the older people, we told Johnson now, well, y'all can't do this. You can't take American tax dollars and give it to foreigners. Well, we're not really stealing the money. What we're doing, we're going to borrow the money from the American taxpayers, and then you're going to get all that money back in an income tax fund with interest. Well, that was way back in, I can't even tell, 65, back in the early 60s, we ain't received a dime. So I finally went to court. And on my count too, since Obama went down on giving them money and stuff, that instated your money, the 10 trillion. And they better not try to get out of it, because when you have a verdict that is against the Constitution, is null, void, non-jurisdictional, trespassing, treason, and it's a non-verdict. You can't rule against the Constitution. And this is all you guys, and this is all stuff we knew in the elementary school. So that's my purpose for being here today. I know I had to introduce myself, and I got some more introduction to do, because I'm only going to do a half an hour today. But here's what we're going to do when I come back next month. We are going to get into these stories. We're going to get into the Constitution. I need you to bring a Constitution handbook or your computer and print it out so you can highlight this stuff and start reading. What if we didn't do this in the 50s, like I said, there would be blood. And if you don't do it now, it's still going to be, because they're going to continue walking across that border. See, they have to come through the state. It's been like that since the Constitution was wrote. The very first law that the founding fathers wrote for Congress was, you can only levy taxes for the defense of the nation and general American welfare. So if you are Mexican or Cuban or Haitian, you can't get any money from America. It says, Article 1, Section 9, that you are under state power. Then Amendment 14 say the state give everybody in its jurisdiction due process of the law. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to make Congress start abiding by the law. The first thing they got to do, they got to return the immigration power back to the states. Well, the way the founding fathers wrote it, they have to have a sponsor. They got to be registered. That costs money. They got to be vetted. That costs money. They need a state work visa. That costs money. If they want to be a real citizen, they got to hold up their right hand and swear that they are a legal resident of whatever state they live in. Then the state got to send a check to the United States. It's around $300 for every one of them. It is not free. You cannot walk in this country for free and start taking over. Now, the reason they're able to do it, President Johnson and the Communist Revolutionary Party got it put into the law by overthrowing. They didn't really overthrow the Constitution. They buried it. They tried to get the states to amend it. That means you got a say in it. But the state, what state gonna amend something and they making all that money? So they didn't do it. So the Supreme Court say do it anyway. So they made it the United States Immigration Naturalizing Act of 1965. It is not worth the paper it is written on. No, not worth it. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to start calling your blasted Congress people. The number is easy. It's 202 224 3121, and don't miss nobody. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't really blame the Republicans because the Democrats had the power for almost 50 years. But now that they in there, they can't do too much because they don't know the Constitution. So technically, they're still doing what the Communist Revolutionary Party wrote, where they can still come here and get all of our money. Oh, no, you don't. That's your money. That's why I want you people, and I'll be giving out a private number next week too, so that you can give me a call, because this is your country. It doesn't do me any good as the gangster queen of constitutional law, Christine Tillman. I know how to get rich, but I don't want to be rich by myself. If I know all of the American citizens are rich, especially the leaders of industry. Well, the leaders of industry happen to be the golden engineers. Granville T. Wood, Elijah McCoy, and a gang of other ones who built the cars, electricity, foam, everything. They started it. Well, they didn't have a lot of money, so then you've got all the manufacturers, Westinghouse, and all of them. They bought the patents. So between the two of us, I cannot give any money to the foreigners. And then they're mostly retarded. I know they tell y'all it's smart. We invented everything. We taught everybody in the world everything they know. I'd say a good 90%, especially people like that guy, or that little fat guy, talking about what all he gonna do with his missile. Them things, we taught him how to do that. They probably ain't gonna even work. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm for real. Y'all, you know how y'all say today, for real? I'm for real. You guys start reading. It's not coming from me. I didn't write the Constitution. They wrote it to save you. I remember in Scripps Elementary School, they used to tell us the founding fathers wrote this Constitution to keep us from being destroyed from within. That's why it limits immigrants and make them pay. What you're going through now is like what I went through when I was in Fort Lauderdale, Texas, Arizona, California. They tell you, we own this. We done took over. And the Haitians, oh my goodness, they run me out of South Florida with a rifle and a knife. I ain't playing. They run me out. They say, you don't vote for who we say, we're going to blow all your signs off that car. And then they sent the kids out to tell me. They said, you going to get killed and all that old dumb stuff. Well, I've been living in this country 75 years. I know I still look 17. And I never seen, indeed, they ain't even citizens. And they got all the jobs. The Haitians got all the jobs in South Florida. Maybe we might have about 10%. I'm talking the medical jobs. I'm talking anything moving. What I need for this United States government to do, and they better do it, they got to reopen job training programs for all these young Americans that's been thrown on the welfare, thrown on the street corner. I need you to reopen the job training programs that President Kennedy put out there. And I know it worked because I've been getting paid now all of my life from the job that he got me at Detroit. I ain't been nowhere near a job unless I feel like it. See, those were programs that were meant to move American citizens forward. And then the Communist Republican Party, well, you can't blame them. By the time they really got involved, we was about something. And they wanted to take over. You can't blame them. It's always been like that. Even in 18 and 1700, the Spanish War, the Portuguese War, here come the English, here come Queen Victoria, here come Prince John. Everybody always try to take over. Now, I will admit to you that the CRP has had it about 50 years, but it's over. Because we've been had it over 300. And we got the word. This time we don't need no guns. If you read that Constitution, it rips them to shreds. And they know it. When I go and speak, I clear the room. And I don't be talking. I just be sitting there reading. What's going to happen to you? And they be flying up out of there. And I be telling them how any American citizen, if they are giving your job to foreigners in an excess number, that's a violation of Amendment 14, Section 1, Clause 2. It says the United States nor any state can take away any privilege or immunity from any citizen of America. So you walk up there and you tell whoever own it, you give them those clauses. You're going to learn them all and tell them, I'm going to sue you for discrimination and other stuff. And treason against your American citizen. You got to start running your mouth now. You can't just sit back here. And I know people don't like Donald Trump, but that's the reason I like him. See, I'm from his day, like Senator McCarthy and them. Oh, shoot, they run up there and slap you down. If you're trying to sneak into this country, they arrested the darn Supreme Court. When they first started to do that. So you can't do this. You people can't write any of these laws that's taking Americans' jobs. So that's why I like him. And then when I first heard that he was coming up, I had already told people, they were saying that they were hearing about him. I said, well, I don't think he's qualified to run with me. Because I'm real mean. When it come around to messing that Constitution, see, as kids, we were beaten if we didn't know it. And now we done grew up now, and some CRP done took over. So I told him he ain't going to be able to stand up and say what I say. And I walked the halls of D.C., and I blasted these religious leaders who think they're going to take over. I blasted the Mexicans. I blasted everybody, Cubans. Especially Mexicans, because see, y'all don't know that they the ones who President Johnson sent here with the drugs, especially for Michigan, Ohio, New York, Illinois, and Pennsylvania, because they had been trying to legislate for GM and Christ, and they couldn't do it. So they found an easy way. They just sent drugs to all those states. 1 week we had never heard of it. The next week everybody was on drugs. And of course, I tried to tell them, nobody never listened to me, but it's time now to not listen to me again. It's time to read the Constitution and save yourself. And if your legislator mess with you, I don't care who it is. This ain't about the Republicans or the Democrats. Like I say, the Republicans went to the same school you did. They don't know what they're doing. They're still going by communist revolutionary laws, but they're going to have to stop it. And this stuff they telling y'all about DACA, they can't do that. Okay, my dear, find out on the next show how to get rich with money you already got and get up and go get it. So that's the end of our show, and I hope I haven't offended anyone except immigrants who don't belong here. I'm tired of you stealing. If you want to come righteously, fine. But this what you're doing now. We fixing to overturn every bit of it. So get your house in order. You're not citizens. Your children are not citizens. Go back to the state, and you got to start all over again. And you cannot vote either. Thank you. Good night to all of my American citizens, or afternoon or whatever. I love you all, and just keep watching the show. And we're going right back to where everybody had a Cadillac or a Beamer or whatever you want. Okay. See ya.